G'day everyone. We thought we'd do something a little bit different this year and introduce some of the key players around the place in our football department to our members and supporters. We thought you'd like to get to know them, so we're going to do a host of interviews with coaches, players and some of the leaders around the place. And our first one today is with Ben Hunt, our women's coach. So Ben, g'day. How are you?
Good, thank you.
That's good. Very well, thank you. The inaugural interviews, all right?
Yep.
Don't be nervous. I guess all we'll do is we'll ask a series of questions of you, mate. We'll find out a little bit more about you so everyone out there can get to know you a bit more. So, our women's team coach, obviously we have two women's teams now. We've got a league and development squad as well. Before we talk about them, tell us a little bit about you. Where have you been prior to coming to Central's?
Yeah, well, the last 9 years I've been at Payneham Norwood Union, under probably not Central's greatest fan, but Gary McIntosh, and learned a lot from him, and then Jace Blade took over, and so I've been working with the A-grade men's for those 9 years, and then coached the women's program for 4 years, and had a little bit of success. And
well, not a little bit of success. So how much of success did you have?
We started in Div 2 in our first year. I think we won 3 games. Then we went undefeated the next year in Div 2, and then made the grand final the next 2 Division 1 grand finals. But unfortunately, we couldn't get over the line in them.
So you would have coached with or against some of the players that you're now coaching and coaching against?
Yes, absolutely. At the start, when I did all the one-on-one interviews, a lot of them said, "Oh yes, I played for Anglebar or I played for Salisbury," and they knew me. I did know a few of them as well. So
you would have been the grumpy coach on the boundary line that they all remembered, no doubt.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So, mate, why Centrals? Why did you want to coach here?
I've always wanted to go higher in my coaching, and thought I had something to offer. My first meeting here, I was super impressed with the attitude towards women's footy, the investment that the club has in women's footy, and the more I did some background myself, and the more I talked to people, the more excited I got about it. The list, you look at last year's results. I know they don't mean anything this year, but I think it means that the girls are on the right path. And after sitting down with every player from last year, I walked away and said there's not one girl that I don't get along with or couldn't have a laugh with. And we've been able to build some great relationships over the last few months.
Yeah, fantastic. And Ben, we're well and truly into pre-season. The women's season starts, I think, on the 5th of February.
Yes.
So we've got a pretty short Christmas break for the girls.
Yes.
Training starts, I think, on the 6th of January.
Yes.
So there's not much of a break there. So having started pre-season, you've been going for a little while. How have you found it? You're on the big Ponderosa, you've got plenty of room out there. I think you're also training somewhere else as well, of course, because of oval space. But how have you found it?
Excellent. It's obviously, we've had sort of up to 70 odd players, which has been a big number, and some players have left the program throughout that period. But it's been great having a good group of assistant coaches, and we all get along really well. We share the workload, and we had a pre-season camp at Waikerie, which was fantastic, and it's been really enjoyable, and it's been a bit of a learning curve for me. Obviously, different personalities and having to build relationships with new players and that sort of thing, but have enjoyed it, and I'm hoping the girls have enjoyed it, and we're on the right path to round 1.
I remember talking to the girls on the first night of training, and I said to them, "Welcome to the club." The only thing I can remember about Elizabeth Oval was how hard pre-season was on it, because it's nearly 540 odd metres around, so one lap is a hell of a long way. Now, mate, young players, you've got a wide range of age in the women's side. Who are some of the young players that have stood out that some of our supporters there might want to come out?
We brought up a lot of our Talent Shield girls, and so there's girls like Georgia McKee, Dakota Williams, Jessie Sanford. I'm sure I would have left someone off there. They've made our state team, our 18 state team, which is fantastic, and they've really impressed at training. Charlotte Riggs is another one. Girls that they've embraced the senior program, and then I think there's been a lot of girls that have maybe been in the program for a year or two that are really starting to step up, and
Now, mate, we're going from one. This might not seem big from the outside, but we're going from one team to 2 teams in our women's program this year, which is an increase in numbers. It also gives our players a really good chance to develop themselves without having to go back and find a place to play, so they can, if they're not playing in the league side. But how have you found, that concept? Because I guess coming from Payman, you would have had an A's and a B's or a seniors and a reserves.
Yeah, we
How have you
did.
found it here?
A little bit differently. I mean, at Payne, you probably don't get everyone showing up every night, so you're only working with a certain amount, whereas here we've been good. We're 50 odd every night at training, so there's a balancing act, and even tonight's session will be a little bit more balancing, because obviously you still need to sort of separate at times, but I am a big believer in they all work together and they'll all improve. And that's been great from our senior girls too, because they really get around the
Really embraced it.
And so it's been interesting but good, and not only that, you've got to find more coaches and that sort of thing, but we're all working well together, and some of the Talent Shield coaches have stepped up, and I think I'm excited. I really let's get Christmas out of the way and get round one.
Hey, mate, last thing on the team is, when we go and watch the women's team play this year, what are we going to be watching? What's the game style? What are you hoping? Are we going to be a fast, aggressive, hard-running team? Are we going to be a contested team? You've had a good look at the players. What can supporters expect to see when they roll up?
I think we will be hard. I think that's a trademark of the girls, but we will be looking at playing fast footy and not being afraid to go in the corridor and take the game on. We were one of the high-scoring teams last year, and we want to do that again this year.
Excellent. Now, Ben, thank you very much. I'm sure when you come and watch the girls play this year, you'll see lots of Ben, and you'll hear him barking plenty from the boundary line. Just a couple of reminders. The season starts the weekend of the 5th of February. So we're playing home, I believe.
Yes.
Who are we playing?
I think the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles at home, so remember that. We'll all be here, that's for sure. Come out and support the girls. We've got the development team, which is our reserves, and the league side as well. It'll be a really exciting year, and thanks for joining us, Ben. All the best for the season, and thanks everyone. Cheers.
Thank you.